Shalom, Kalalal, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai. I just want to give all praises, glory, and honor due unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders and bishops of GMS that I do learn this truth from. To you I say Shalom, and Shalom unto the hopeful elect. Alright, so I was just watching two videos, and the first one I watched, title of it says, Edomite pulls heater on an Israelite and E gets put to sleep. It was posted by Whatisthe666mark2 GMSTruth, correct? So that's Elder Apostle Tahar's channel. Link will be in the description, of course. Go watch and be edified. And then the next one is Priest Genesis Mode. White man pulls blower on Hebrew Israelite, a fight ensues. And that's the video that Elder Apostle Tahar was critiquing. And I just want to, say a few things in the spirit and also bring out some precepts. More so on this video right here, Elder Apostle Tahar's channel, and also this man right here, because what was said by Elder Apostle Tahar is on point, man. The counsel is very good. Very good, and a brother should take heed to that. First of all, you don't want to be in a one-man camp if you don't have to be. Don't go out on the highways by yourself. Make sure you're in a very busy location, right? This is not a one-man show. Scriptures talks about there being a body as well, which is composed of members, and the different members represent brothers, right? So it's good to be out there with brothers. All right, so that's accepted. The council's accepted, and also he also said, brothers need to learn how to use their hands. Add a 1-2-3 combo punch in their arsenal. It's okay to defend yourself. Scripture says, roughly paraphrasing, teach the children of Judah the bow. Right, teach them the bow. So, and also when you go into other scriptures, you look at the men of old on how they did things. They were men of war, so they knew how to use their hands. They knew how to fight properly. Okay, now how it played out here, that's just how the Lord made it play out, and that was for edification, an example, and it taught me a lesson too. And I hope brothers are learning. Right, so the council's on point. However, I do think that Priest Genesis Mode is a bit of a drama king, and don't get me wrong, he pulled out his precepts, he said what he had to say. It's very easy for you to say, hey, this is what I would do this, I would do that. Okay, we'll see what happens. Is the Spirit on you to do what you're saying now? But that's not the point I'm trying to get at. I believe he was a bit sensational, especially how he made the video with the thumbnail and etc., which I don't really care. Right, but that's Israel. Israel likes the drama, and I notice he didn't play the full video, and he doesn't know the full story. And I'm here to tell you that he's a little bit misinformed. Now, I will also say this too: this park that I'm in the Peel region is a major attraction. So there's a lot of people in that area. It may not look so at that given time. But when I was there, there's lots of people there, all right? If I were to pan the camera just a little bit forward, you would see lots of people in the chapel, because where I was at, it's a wedding chapel. People are getting married all the time at that place, right? And there's an open field where people come, they bring their dogs and their pets to the park, right? And people are always walking on around that area. So I'm near like the outskirts of the park where that area that I described is at. And that's another thing. The reason why I chose that area is because it's right beside 21 Division, which is the police station. Okay? So, when I looked it up, because I did my research before I came out there, that's a perfect spot to go out there and prophesy. Because I knew I was going to be on my own. So I just want to say that. I think this man here is a bit misinformed of what's going on. I'm not in the middle of nowhere. right? So you don't know my situation. But now, also, I just want to say, this video only shows you what took place when I was fighting that guy. It didn't show you the aftermath, okay? Because when that guy got fucked up, people called the police, and myself included. I called the police, and then a bystander, a man and his wife, they saw me, right? And they said, hey, we know you. We see you here all the time. You're not a bad dude. And then another dude came in. He's like, yeah, I know this guy. And then the park keeper, right? The groundskeeper, that is. He came and he said, yeah, I know this guy. And then they gave their statements because there were witnesses. People were recording this, okay? And not everybody's going to run to your aid. That's not how the Lord set it up. Some brothers go through things differently, and that's just how I was set up to go through. And that's my testimony, and nobody can testify on my behalf, right? So make sure you have the information before you say things. But however, the counsel was on point, right? And I got some precepts going into that. This is Matthew chapter 18, verse 20, where for where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. Beautiful. You see that? So the Lord wants you to go out there with brothers in his name. And that's when the Lord is with you as well, right? So that's good counsel. You should be with more than one brother. If you can. That's if you have brothers with you. Another one. Psalms chapter 34, verse 7. The angel of the Lord, Yahweh, encampeth round about them that fear him, and delivereth them. You see, so I was delivered. People showed up. They came to my aid, and thankfully that guy didn't know what the hell he was doing. Okay, and come to find out, this guy was always in and out of jail, and he wasn't a gangster. He's just a drunk. That's what happened. Okay, this guy is known for being very wild, right? So yes, I was delivered out of that situation. All praises to Yahweh Bashem Yoshai. All right, so another one. This is Luke chapter 14, verse 23. And the Lord said unto the servant, go out into the highways and hedges and compel them to come in, that my house may be filled. So the hedges are like areas where there's shrubs. If you understand what the hedges are, you can just go into Google or Chat GPT and get hedges. All right, hedges. What are ancient hedges like according to Luke 14 and 23, and all these pictures will come up and show you, and it's very similar to where I'm at. Okay, because if I were to pan the camera, there's all these hedges around, so I'm where I'm supposed to be. All right, and that's how the Lord set it up. Now the counsel, like I said, is on point, right? But that's where I'm supposed to be as of right now. And I already explained, that place is a major attraction. There's always people at that place, and that's why it shows it. All right. So how it looks, that's just how the Lord set it up. And that's for an object lesson to teach brothers on how to move when they go out on the highways and byways. And I guess I was that example today. Okay? But that place, I did everything in my power to make sure I did the right thing, picking the spot that I was at. And today was just not my day. That's just how it is with the Lord, So let me get another one. This is 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 2. Preach the word, be instant, in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. That's right. You got to be instant, in season. You got to be ready to go. And that includes you not having brothers to go out with. You got to be ready to go. Right? You still got to go out there and show your faith no matter what. Okay? Right? You still got to go out there. You got to reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. And that's exactly what I was doing. I was reproving this guy, rebuking this guy. And I also wanted to exhort him just to check his spirit out. But obviously he's an Edomite. And I had to do it with all long suffering. I was actually suffering. And doctrine. There you go. You got to bring out the truth, 100% truth. Now I want to get this because, Yahweh Shai, when he was young, he was on his own for a period of time. The Spirit had him leave his parents, and he had to go do his own thing. All right, so you know, brothers, this might be you. You might be on your own. Until men follow you, or you get with somebody, which I don't mean it that way, like follow you. I mean if brothers want to be with you, that is, right? Because we're really following Yahweh B'Hashem Yoshai, right? That's what I mean. But this might be your situation. You might have to be on your own for a while. And you shouldn't be afraid. Okay? You shouldn't be afraid. The Lord didn't give us the spirit of fear. And also the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. Roughly paraphrasing. So this is Luke chapter 2, verse... Okay, hold on. We're going to start here. Verse 43. Luke chapter 2, verse 43. And when they had fulfilled the days as they returned, the child Yahushua tarried behind in Jerusalem, and Joseph and his mother knew not of it. But they, supposing him to have been in the company, went a day's journey, and they sought him among their kinsfolk and acquaintance. And when they found him not, they turned back again to Jerusalem, seeking him. And it came to pass that after 3 days they found him in the temple, sitting in the midst of the doctors, both hearing them. So he tarried, man. He was on his own. And anything could have happened to him, because he's 12. Because when you read on, he was in the midst of adults, people who were stronger than him. He could have got killed, but it didn't happen, right? That doesn't mean he was afraid. And that doesn't mean that you should be afraid. Okay, when thou comes to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Brought it out a bit earlier. You know, that fiery trial you're gonna go through. You're gonna go through afflictions for righteousness' sake. Right? However, I'm gonna say this again: the counsel is accepted, and brothers should take heed to this counsel. This counsel is very important. Okay, very important. All right, so let's continue on. Verse 45. And when they found him, they turned back again to Jerusalem, seeking him. And it came to pass that after 3 days they found him in the temple, sitting in the midst of the doctors, both hearing them and asking them questions. And all that heard him were astonished at his understanding and answers. And when they saw him, they were amazed. And his mother said unto him, Son, why hast thou thus dealt with us? Behold, thy father and I have sought thee sorrowing. And he said unto them, How is it that ye sought me? Wist ye not that I must be about my father's business? Because they're still viewing him as a little kid. But now he's of age, because he turned 12, which means he's under the covenant. So now he is a man. And he has to go out there and do the work of the Lord. That's the father's business. So that's his business, not your business. Okay, he's where he's supposed to be. Verse 50. And they understood not the saying which he spake unto them. And he went down with them, and came to Nazareth, and was subject unto them. But his mother kept all these sayings in her heart. And Yahushua increased in wisdom and stature, and in favor with the Most High and men. So there you go. And then that's when he got a following. More, the disciples came, and he went out there and he taught. Then he had people that were under him, and he was out there with them, right? So that may take some time for certain brothers too, but you gotta show your face, man. You gotta be out there, right? So you shouldn't be afraid to go out there on the highways and hedges, no matter what happens. All right, and brothers, man, get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in your combo. You know, some punches. Give them a forearm. You know, I should have done that, but you know, it was just that's just how it is. Okay, so with that, hope this was edifying. Till next time, just want to give all praises, glory, and honor due unto Yahweh, B'Hashem Yahushai, B'Hashem Rakah Kodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders and bishops of Great Millstone of GMSTruth. I say shalom. Shalom unto the hopeful elect. Shalom.